Hello all of you wonderful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com with what can only be described as a somber video coming for you right now. 2019 has been an explosive and exciting time for the wrestling industry, with new faces, new promotions and a ton of new talking points emerging across the months. However, with the new life comes the inevitable acknowledgement of death, and this too has seen its fair share across the year. So today I am here to honour those that we lost over 2019. There won't be any jokes, no silly asides, because the men and women that make up this roster deserve more than that. With this in mind, I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 27 wrestlers who died in 2019. Number 27, Jim Evans, January the 1st. Former AWA star Jim Evans, who made several appearances for WWE throughout the 80s and 90s, died on New Year's Day after suffering a cardiac arrest. He was 53 years old. Evans, born in Longview, Texas, made his pro wrestling debut in 1982 after training under Tom Stone and Jake Millman. Working his way up the territories, Evans eventually earned a place in WWE at the turn of the decade as enhancement talent to a range of stars including Harley Race and the Honky Tonk Man. Between spells in the WWE, Evans starred in the AWA and beyond that on the independent scene, putting over talent across the states, doing so as Heartbreaker Trevor Adonis, and he remained active in the ring right through until the early 2000s. Number 26, Gene Okerlund, the 2nd of January. Mean Gene Okerlund passed away on the 2nd of January following a fall at home. He was 76. In a career spanning over 5 decades, Okerlund established himself as perhaps the wrestling industry's finest ever presenter. At the time of his death, the tenured legend was signed to a lifetime contract with the WWE. Recognized as one of the company's most cherished personalities and a reassuringly familiar figure across several generations of their product, Okerlund's assurance and professional composure in front of the camera provided the perfect counterpoint for the then WWF's hyper-exaggerated superstars, and he quickly became a staple across all of the brand's output. Comfortable in any role, Okerlund was omnipresent at WWF shows, including Primetime Wrestling, Tuesday Night Titans, and every major pay-per-view. Ever dependable, he even sang the national anthem at the first WrestleMania on short notice. Okerlund's excellence continued throughout his spell in WCW, but his return to WWE at WrestleMania X7's Gimmick Battle Royale following the company's purchase of WCW felt like a true homecoming. He was retained ever since, hosting countless WWE programs and most recently appearing at Raw 25 to interview the then WWE champion AJ Styles. In 2006, he was inducted into WWE's Hall of Fame by his close friend Hulk Hogan. Number 25, ALEXIS SMIRNOFF, 5th of January. Canadian veteran Michael LaMarche, better known as evil Russian heel Alexis Smirnoff, died on the 5th of January following kidney failure. LaMarche, 71, had entered hospice care several days before passing away. Throughout the 70s, LaMarche was positioned opposite all of the region's top names, from Abdullah the Butcher to his mentor Edouard Carpentier. However, towards the end of the decade, he hit a crossroads, knowing that he'd need a fresh gimmick to capture the imagination of the lucrative United States market. It was during a tour with Ivan Koloff that he struck gold as the villain Smirnoff, a compatriot villain from behind the Iron Curtain. This gimmick was a hit in San Francisco, and soon audiences the world over were cowering in fear at the Mad Russian. LaMarche went on to sign a big-money multi-year tour deal with Japan before returning to the States as a regular fixture in IWA. He also enjoyed a brief spell with the WWF in 1986, on occasion replacing Nikolai Volkov in a number of tag contests alongside the Iron Sheik. After winding down his career in the AWA, LaMarche hung up his Ushanka up in 1988, opening a wrestling school in San Francisco. Number 24, Rex Bacchus, the 17th of January. Independent star Rex Bacchus, known primarily for his work with Team Vision Dojo, sadly lost his battle with cancer this January when he was just 35 years old. Bacchus, born Chris Sims in Sebastian, Florida, began training with the dojo at the start of 2015, quickly picking up the ropes and going on to compete in over 200 matches for the company. Although he had been fighting cancer for some time, the illness did not curtail his passion and enthusiasm for the industry. Just 2 months prior to his untimely death, he hit a career highlight with an appearance on MLW Fusion. Rex's final match came at a charity benefit, during which he symbolically beat cancer in a main event death match. Team Vision Dojo confirmed that, although Bacchus lost his final fight, he passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Number 23, Belladonna, 21st of January. Former Impact Wrestling valet and knockout Roxanne "Belladonna" Biggerstaff died on the 21st of January at the age of 40. She had been on life support prior to her passing after being discovered unresponsive by EMTs several days earlier. Roxanne first made a name for herself in wrestling as part of TNA's Disciples of the New Church faction back in 2002, in which she functioned as a valet. On the 4th of December 2002, she wrestled her one and only match for the company, losing to America's Most Wanted in a handicap bull rope contest. Stablemate Wolfie D, known in the group as Slash, shared the sad news via his Facebook page. He stated, "I loved what she added to the group. She played her character well. Outside of the ring, she was a real sweetheart." Number 22, Les Thornton, the 1st of February. Les Thornton, one of the finest junior heavyweights to come out of the British Isles, peacefully passed away in early February at the age of 84. The itinerant Englishman, born in Salford on the 9th of April 1934, broke into the business at the age of 23 after switching disciplines from rugby. Thornton claimed titles in every region he wrestled in and was one of the few talents retained by the WWE when they bought out Georgia Championship Wrestling in 1984. Though his in-ring work began to wind down, the company used Thornton's vast experience to help run business in international territories, including Saudi Arabia and Australia. Thornton retired in 1990, opening a gym in Calgary where he settled down with his second wife. Number 21, Salvatore Bellomo, the 9th of February. On the 9th of February, the cousin of Salvatore Bellomo shared the news that the Belgian wrestler had died following a battle with cancer. He was 67. At the start of his career, Bellomo was handed a number of gimmicks leaning on his Italian heritage. His work eventually caught the eye of the WWE, where he performed enhancement duties throughout the 80s. Perhaps his most notable jobbing duty came beneath the boots of Bob Backlund, for whom he did the honors in the ex-champion's final match with the company for nearly a decade. His fortunes picked up as one part of the ECW roster, where he competed in the company's first ever championship match against Jimmy Snuka. For the latter part of his career, Bellomo toured the European independent scene before training the next generation of Belgian wrestling talent in his home country. Number 20, KOJI KITAO, 10th of February. Legendary sumo star KOJI KITAO, who had, let's just say, an eventful pro wrestling career, unfortunately passed away on the 10th of February from chronic renal failure. The young Rikishi KITAO became only the sport's 60th man ever to be promoted to Yokozuna level in 1986. However, despite his lofty title, KITAO failed to win a tournament as Yokozuna, and his sumo career came to a crashing halt after he struck the wife of his boss. Though his exit ended in disgrace, KITAO remained a hugely popular sports star, and New Japan was soon knocking at the door for his services. Although the star attraction sold out the Tokyo Dome for the first time in the company's history, his fiery temper once more cut short his run after he was fired after falling out with booker Riki Chozu. KITAO was promptly hired by Genichiro Tenryu for Super World of Sports. At the time, the promotion had a working arrangement with the WWE, leading to the unusual spectacle of relative unknowns KITAO and Tenryu besting top tag team Demolition at WrestleMania 7. But once again, his partnership ended with a bang, as he infamously refused to lose a second time to fellow ex-sumo John Earthquake Tenta, a man whose record paled in comparison to his own. The match ended with KITAO booting the referee and then declaring the whole of pro wrestling fake. KITAO gradually migrated into MMA, where he competed in Pride's debut event opposite former WWE wrestler Nathan Jones. He eventually retired from the ring in 1998. Number 19, Pedro Morales, the 12th of February. Legendary Hall of Famer and WWE Triple Crown winner Pedro Morales passed away at his home on the 12th of February following a battle with advanced Parkinson's disease. He was 76 years old. The industry was quick to honor Morales, a legitimate icon of the business who in 1971 became the first Latin WWF World Heavyweight Champion, going on to hold the title for over 1,000 days. At the age of 17, Morales began in-ring training, making his New York City debut in 1959. After success in California's WWA and Mid-Pacific, Morales returned to New York, where he began working for Vince McMahon Sr. at the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Within just a year, he was selected to follow in the footsteps of Bruno Sammartino as the territory's next babyface hero. At Madison Square Garden on the 8th of February 1971, he famously dispatched Sammartino's conqueror Ivan Koloff to claim the region's top title. He'd keep a firm hold of it for the next 1,027 days, proving a massive draw for the region's Puerto Rican population, selling out Madison Square Garden a stunning 21 times. Morales eventually dropped the strap to Stan Stasiak in December 1973, as Sammartino returned to replace him at the top. Don Pedro's run at the pinnacle may have reached a close, but he would continue to make history in WWE following a brief excursion to Japan and AWA. After returning to the promotion, he won the Tag Team Championships alongside Bob Backlund and latterly the Intercontinental Championship to become the company's first ever Triple Crown winner. The Puerto Ricans' combined reign with the Intercontinental title totaled 619 days, a record which still stands to this day. Morales hung up his boots in 1987, becoming a road agent and Spanish-language commentator for the WWF. He was inducted into their Hall of Fame in 1995 by fellow Puerto Rican Savio Vega. Number 18. Cliff Sheets, the 16th of February. Cliff Sheets, a promoter who ran shows in the Florida area, passed away on the 16th of February at the age of 52. After getting his break in the industry courtesy of Texan journeyman Rusty Brooks, Sheets found work throughout the 80s for Dusty Rhodes Professional Wrestling Federation, the forerunner to Florida Championship Wrestling. His time on the circuit eventually earned him a preliminary spot in both WWF and WCW in the early 90s. In the former, he put over the likes of Kerry Von Erich and Davey Boy Smith. Later on in his career, Sheets went under the name Cliff Anderson, owing a passing resemblance to Horseman Enforcer Arn. In 2000, he made one last appearance in the WWE, rolling over for Steve Blackman during a Jacked taping in his native state. The Floridan began staging shows in Fort Pierce as his in-ring career wound down, notably handing a career start to announcer Kevin Kelly. Number 17. King Kong Bundy, the 4th of March. Legendary monster heel King Kong Bundy passed away at his home on the 4th of March following complications from diabetes. He was 63. Best known for headlining WrestleMania 2 against WWE champion Hulk Hogan, Bundy was a major figure for the promotion in the mid to late 1980s. He first joined the promotion in '85 and was pushed to the moon upon arrival, feuding with Andre the Giant before moving on to Hogan. The 450-pounder was one of only a handful of performers fans thought capable of beating Hogan at the height of Hulkamania, though he ultimately fell to the era-defining icon. Later, Bundy would forge an alliance with Big John Studd before leaving the WWE in 1988 and taking several years off from wrestling before a one-off ECW appearance in 1993. Number 16. Dick Beyer, 7th of March. Legendary masked wrestler Dick the Destroyer Beyer passed away peacefully at his home on the 7th of March surrounded by his family. He was 88. A significant cross-cultural start, the Destroyer is considered a forerunner for foreign TV personalities appearing on Japanese variety shows. Wrestling-wise, he is best known for battling Rikidozan, about which has been largely credited as sparking the Japanese wrestling boom, with 64% of the country's viewers tuning in for the spectacle. The 80s and 90s saw Beyer work as both a wrestling promoter and physical education teacher. He worked his last bout in July 1993 teaming with Giant Baba and his son Kurt, before slipping into retirement. Number 15. Wally Yamaguchi, the 9th of March. Yusuke Wally Yamaguchi, known amongst wrestling fans as the charismatic manager of Japanese stable Kaientai, died in March following a lengthy illness. Yamaguchi, who suffered a serious stroke in 2017, was 60 years old. Although Yamaguchi is best remembered by Attitude Era diehards for the infamous skit in which he uttered the immortal line, "I choppy choppy your pee-pee," the manager played an influential role promoting wrestling in his homeland. He was a close friend and contact of the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, who depended on Yamaguchi for much of his Japanese coverage in the 80s and 90s. Number 14. Roger Kirby, 18th of March. Roger Kirby, a veteran top liner of the territories throughout the 60s and 70s, died in hospital on the 18th of March after contracting pneumonia whilst battling pancreatic cancer. He was 79. Born the 14th of December 1939 in Dunkirk, Indiana, Kirby impressed as a Golden Gloves boxer in the 50s before a high school wrestling show turned his eye to the pro business. After learning the ropes under state vets Dick the Bruiser and the original Sheik, Kirby toured the NWA territories in the 1960s and also worked a short stint in the future CMLL. It was in 1967, at the direct request of the original Buddy Rogers, that Kirby became the second incarnation of the Nature Boy. Throughout the next decade, he racked up the gold, earning the NWA Central States Championship 3 times and sharing tag team success with notable names such as Ronnie Garvin and Harley Race. Upon his passing, the Fantastics' Bobby Fulton described Kirby as one of the greatest heels in the wrestling business. Number 13. Al Wilson, the 4th of April. Al Wilson, best remembered amongst wrestling fans for his on-screen love affair with Dawn Marie, died on the 4th of April, just days before his daughter Tori was inducted into WWE's Hall of Fame. Wilson had no prior involvement in the wrestling business, but quickly became a household name when he was inserted into a lengthy storyline on SmackDown as Dawn Marie's aged lover in 2002, much to the chagrin of Tori. The angle, which ran for 4 months, eventually saw the novice hit the ring for a match alongside Rikishi, going against Matt Hardy and Dawn Marie. Against Tori's best wishes, Al and Dawn eventually tied the knot in 2003. Leading to a memorable skit in which the elderly newlywed passed away from overstimulation during a night of passion with his bride. This inevitably led to a catfight between Tori and Dawn at the funeral. In the week of her Hall of Fame accolade, Tori revealed on Instagram that her father had passed away. She shared the following message: "Just wanted to tell you to make that call to a loved one. Don't put it off, and tell someone you love them, and don't think twice about it." Number 12. John Quinn, the 22nd of April. Canadian wrestler John Quinn, best known for his stint as the Kentucky Butcher, died on the 22nd of April after complications from surgery following a stroke. He was 77. After cycling through a number of monikers, he eventually settled on the name Virgil the Kentucky Butcher, a title that he carried in 2 separate spells with the then WWF. And at the apex of his run in New York, he had a match opposite long-term champion Bruno Sammartino at Madison Square Garden in 1967. Later in his career, Quinn enjoyed a lengthy spell touring Europe, during which he became one of the biggest stars in the UK. At the height of the sport's popularity, the Canadian headlined Wembley Arena alongside Big Daddy. Things turned sour after a falling out with a promoter, and, unwilling to adapt his style for the entertainment-centric styles of the 80s, Quinn hung up his boots in 1987. Number 11. Silver King, the 11th of May. Cesar Silver King Baron tragically died after collapsing during a match at London's Roundhouse in May of this year. He was 51. Baron, the son of Dr. Wagner, enjoyed a fantastic career in Mexico, more often than not teaming with El Texarkano as part of Los Cowboys. He was also a frequent performer for WCW as part of Nitro's electric cruiserweight division. After leaving Atlanta, he returned to his homeland to compete in New Japan Pro Wrestling's affiliate CMLL. He was shortly selected to succeed Mark Rocco and Eddie Guerrero as the next iteration of Black Tiger, embarking on a feud with nemesis Tiger Mask 4. But King's career highlight arguably came outside the ring, when he was cast as the villainous luchador Ramses in the 2005 Jack Black comedy Nacho Libre. He even wrestled in the golden attire around Mexico for some time after. Following his death, AAA inducted Baron into their Hall of Fame during Triplemania 27's ceremony. Number 10. Ashley Massaro, 16th of May. Former WWE superstar Ashley Massaro tragically took her own life on the 16th of May. She was 39 years old. Growing up, both Ashley's father and brother competed as amateur wrestlers, though the mat game wasn't her first interest. She completed a BSc in communication at the State University of New York. It was only in 2005, after capturing WWE's attention through her modeling work, that she entered the industry, earning a contract worth $250,000 as the Raw Diva Search winner. She subsequently linked up with Trish Stratus during her career's early stages. Her WWE run peaked when she fought Melina for the women's title at WrestleMania 23. 2008 saw Ashley retire from the WWE for the benefit of her sick daughter. In September 2017, she made a one-off return to the ring, competing against 0-1 alongside ex-WWE colleague Jillian Hall. Number 9. Atsushi Aoki, the 3rd of June. All Japan Pro Wrestling's Atsushi Aoki passed away on the 3rd of June following a motorcycle accident in Tokyo. He was 41 years old. Pro Wrestling Noah was his first home, and he became a 2-time GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion there, before departing for AJPW in January 2013. The Noah Invaders formed a stable named Burning, and Aoki would go on to reign as a 3-time All-Asia Tag Team Champion and a 3-time Junior Heavyweight Champion, with his last title win coming on the 20th of May. He was still holding the singles belt at the time of his passing. Number 8. Lionheart, 19th of June. Adrian McCallum, known throughout the British wrestling scene as Lionheart, died on the 19th of June at the age of just 36. His death was ruled as suicide. His career was a grueling uphill climb, but this all paid off for him in December 2018 when he captured ICW's World Heavyweight Championship at the promotion's signature Fear and Loathing event in Glasgow. A universally popular figure across all Brit Wres, he was a particularly effective heel performer and also ran his own promotion, Pro Wrestling Elite, based out of Scotland. Scotland. At the time of his death, McCallum was the current ICW champion. On the evening prior to his passing, he poignantly tweeted, "One day you will eat your last meal. You will smell your last flower. You will hug your friend for the last time. You might not know it's the last time. That's why you must do everything you love with passion." Number 7. Max Muscle, 23rd of June. In late June, WWE Hall of Famer Diamond Dallas Page announced that his friend and former on-screen bodyguard, John Max Muscle Chorlaitko, had died. He was 56. After graduating from the WCW's power plant, Chorlaitko entered the ring to the name Big Bad John. 2 years on, he was repackaged as Max Muscle and could most regularly be spotted providing protection for Diamond Dallas Page. The alliance was short-lived, however, and in 1996, Muscle split from his employer, with the two inevitably clashing in the ring. In 1997, he joined the incredibly bizarre Dungeon of Doom stable as Max with 2 X's, but was let go from the company later that year. After this, he took a 2-year hiatus from the industry before returning to make sporadic appearances on the independent circuit until 2009. Number 6. Jacques Rougeau Sr., the 1st of July. The death of Jacques Rougeau Sr. was announced by his family in early July. He was 89 when he passed. Throughout the 70s, Rougeau was a rising star of Montreal's International Wrestling Association, claiming its Intercontinental Championship on 5 occasions. His popularity played into a tour with New Japan, where he feuded with some of the company's biggest draws, including Antonio Inoki. Rougeau retired in 1984, around the same time that his sons Jacques Jr. and Raymond were making a name for themselves in the business. They'd collectively find success in the WWE as the Fabulous Rougeaus, and the former enjoyed a brief solo run as the Mountie. Number 5. Perro Aguayo Sr., 3rd of July. Perro Aguayo, one of the biggest draws in Lucha Libre history, died on the 3rd of July after suffering a blood supply obstruction. He was 73. Debuting in 1968, Aguayo became one of the most effective villains of the age thanks to his in-ring brawling style. After starring for the defunct UWA promotion throughout the 70s and 80s, he helped form AAA in 1992, continuing as a top star and participating in one of the best-drawing feuds with Conan and Cien Caras. Aguayo's retirement tour eventually saw him jump ship to CMLL. There, he enjoyed a fairly lengthy stay and wrestled his last match in 2007. After the death of his son, he lived a private life until his own demise. Harley Race's longtime friend Dustin Rhodes made the sad announcement on the 1st of August that the multiple-time Hall of Famer had died, 6 months after being diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. He was 76 years old. Race's first gig in the business was as a chauffeur to St. Joseph's Happy Humphrey, who at 800 pounds was too large to drive his own vehicle. Little by little, the rookie broke into the ring, first competing in the Nashville area under the name Jack Long. But just as his budding career was picking up momentum, tragedy struck. A car accident nearly resulted in his leg being amputated, and his pregnant wife Vivian died immediately. Doctors told Harley that he'd never wrestle again. But oh, how wrong they were. After years of intense physical therapy, Race eventually returned to the ring in 1964. The team of Race and Terry Funk won title after title in Minneapolis, and he found similar success as a solo act. In 1973, Race defeated Dory Funk to claim his first NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Over the next 11 years, he'd win the belt a further 7 times, beating the likes of Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes, and Ric Flair. Race's final reign with the big gold belt memorably ended in 1983, when he lost a violent steel cage match against Ric Flair at the inaugural Starrcade. The torch duly passed to the natural successor. Race departed the NWA, and by 1986 was on the books of the WWE alongside close friend Bobby Heenan. In order to push the newcomer as a star that everyone knew that he was, WWE crowned Race the winner of their King of the Ring tournament. The King's most notable program came opposite Junkyard Dog, who he summarily dispatched at WrestleMania 3. After winding his wrestling career down, he gradually transitioned into a managerial role, and could most frequently be seen cackling at the side of Lex Luger and Big Van Vader in WCW. In 2007, Race was inducted into WWE's Hall of Fame. Number 3. Eddie Marlin, 15th of August. Eddie Marlin, one of the most popular babyfaces in Tennessee wrestling history, passed away on the 15th of August while in hospice care. He had turned 89 a week earlier. Marlin, born in Nashville, Tennessee, made his start in the business in 1949 at the age of just 19. In the ring, Marlin's great success came in tag teams alongside Tommy Gilbert, Robbie Gibson, and Tojo Yamamoto, though his most memorable turn came as the face of son-in-law Jerry Jarrett's Continental Wrestling Association. Occasionally, he'd step back into the tights, most notably for a feud feud with his former partner Gibson. He even teamed with grandson Jeff Jarrett for a match at the Memphis Showgrounds in 1986. At number 2, Rick Bognar, 20th of September. Former WWE wrestler Rick Bognar suddenly passed away on the 20th of September following a heart attack. He was 49. Though he worked for promotions as diverse as ECW, New Japan Pro Wrestling and AAA, Bognar is best remembered for his work as WWE's fake Razor Ramon in September 1996. Introduced alongside an imposter Diesel, played by Glenn Jacobs, following Scott Hall and Kevin Nash's departure for WCW, the short-lived angle lasted only a few months, with Bognar and Jacobs sent to USWA as part of a talent exchange program shortly after the 1997 Royal Rumble. Bognar would continue wrestling through to his retirement in 2000, having last worked for Stampede Wrestling in his native Canada. And number 1, Matt Travis, 9th of November. Burgeoning independent talent Matt Travis died on the 9th of November after his bicycle was struck by another vehicle in East Harlem, New York. He was just 25 years old. Travis began his wrestling career in 2016 after training at Queen's House of Glory School. He made his in-ring debut at CCW's Dojo Wars 97 and subsequently went on to star in a number of Northeast independents, including Game Changer Wrestling and House of Glory proper. Tributes poured in from all corners of the wrestling world in the wake of Travis's sudden death. WWE's Curtis Axel and Impact's Sami Callihan each tweeted their condolences, whilst AEW Tag Team Santana and Ortiz dedicated their full gear match against the Young Bucks to Matt's honor. Hello everyone, Jules here, just interrupting myself in a weird way. Unfortunately, after I'd recorded this list, it turns out that 2 more wrestlers unfortunately passed away this year that were brought to my attention, so I've decided to add them in here. Apologies that it's not in order, but it's kind of just dealing with that situation as it was presented to me. Rene Goulet, 25th of May. The number 1 Frenchman, Rene Goulet, died on the 25th of May, though his death remained private until the Cauliflower Alley Club confirmed his passing in December. He was 86 years old. Goulet, born Robert Bedard in Quebec City, Canada, spent much of his early career in Vern Gagney's AWA, before going on to enjoy tag team success alongside Karl Gotch in WWE. The pair became the company's second ever tag team champions when they beat Luke Graham and Tarzan Tyler at a New York house show in 1971. Throughout his tenure in the industry, Goulet achieved a number of other significant accomplishments. He appeared in the USA Network's first ever televised wrestling match, and he was the first person to beat Ric Flair at the start of the future Nature Boy's career. Goulet hung up his boots in 1986, after which he worked as a road agent for the WWE for the next 11 years. Modern fans will likely recognize him as one of the phalanx of officials who could regularly be seen breaking up fights whenever they erupted. Moondog Rex, 14th of December. Randy Colley, best known as Moondog Rex and the original Smash in WWE Tag Team Demolition, died on the 14th of December at the age of 69. Born the 2nd of May 1950 in Alexander City, Alabama, Colley got his break in the WWE at the age of 31, winning the company's Tag Team Championships in 1981 as part of the Moondogs alongside Moondog King. 3 years on, he earned a WWE title shot against Hulk Hogan during a television taping in Canada. Looking to capitalize on the success of the Road Warriors, WWE introduced a new tag team known as Demolition in 1987. Colley underwent a significant cosmetic makeover as he was repackaged as the team's bruiser Smash, but fans saw through the face paint almost immediately and began chanting Moondog at early house show appearances. He was quickly replaced in the tandem by Barry Darzo. After leaving the WWE, Colley enjoyed a spell in Continental Wrestling under the name Detroit Demolition, before assuming the old Moondog moniker in WCW. Amongst his highlights were a Halloween Havoc 90 match against the Junkyard Dog and being part of the stable of inept cowboys known as the Desperados. And there we go, those were 27 wrestlers who died in 2019. It would be a very weird thing to say that I hope that you enjoyed this, but I hope that you understand where I'm coming from when I say that I hope that you enjoyed this remembrance of these people. I am aware that there may be others that have been missed off of this list, so please don't take that as a slight against them. I hope that you have a fantastic end to your year, whatever you are getting up to, and just to leave you with a bit of thought. As unfortunate as it is to say, death is an inevitability of life and will at some point affect each and every one of us. But the closing thought that I have for you today isn't to be stuck with the grief of somebody you loved passing. It is to use their memory to further your own life for the better. Try not to live in the shadow of them, but use their strength to lift you above the darkness. I hope that you're treating yourself well, both mentally and physically, especially as we're coming to the close of the year, and I hope that you have a fantastic Christmas and New Year. As always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.